What's up, people of YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys all so much for the love on the last video. That it blew me away, so thank you guys for that. But we're back working on the 07K swapped E30. I'm sick, I feel like dog crap, but you know, there's no days off, baby. I'm on my grind. So in the last video, we got a bunch of parts onto the 07K that Boost Brothers Garage sent over. The valve cover, they didn't send the turbo manifold, but we put the turbo manifold back on, put the intake manifold like kind of half on. We painted the head, made the 07K look pretty. But now what we need to do is we have a bunch of new accessory parts from DOS Parts. They sent over a bunch of stuff for us to be able to put on and refresh the 07K before it's ready to go into the E30. My idiot self grabbed the wrong accessory bracket from the shed. I have like 3 to 4 accessory brackets, and that one doesn't work with the intake manifold. That was my fault. I'm stupid. So I gotta go run back and grab the other accessory bracket. So let me go do that, and then I'll show you what we're putting on the engine today. Well, unfortunately, I did not have an extra one. I thought I did, but apparently I put that one on the Mark II. So we're gonna make this one work because I don't feel like buying another one. So there's 2 different styles of accessory brackets for the 07K engine. This one has the power steering pump at the very top, so that doesn't allow for intake manifold clearance. Obviously, as you can see, I cannot get that to go. So this top part is going to get cut off. I'm gonna make it work. So grinder, accessory bracket, let's get to it. Hiya! There we go. All right, not a very clean cut, but I don't really have a cutoff wheel that was made for cast aluminum, so that was kind of sketch, but we made it work, so let's see if it fits now. All right, moment of truth. Bam! She fits. Let's freaking go, dude. I'm a genius. I'm so smart. I should clean up the top of this, but honestly, I don't care. But we are gonna clean it up. We are gonna wire wheel it and then just shoot it with a coat of the Seymour Illuma Blast or whatever that we used in the last video, you know, just to make it look fancy. All right, so the accessory bracket is as clean as it's gonna get because I don't feel like sitting here and wire wheeling it all night. We're gonna use the Seymour Illuma Blast. I really like how it looks on the head, so we'll do this real quick, give it just maybe like 1 or 2 coats, and we'll go from there. All right, well, we got this thing cleaned up a little bit. It looks maybe marginally better, so that's something. So let's throw it on here, and then we'll lift this engine back up and then put it maybe on the engine hoist, so that way I don't have to, like, you know, sit here and freaking be bent over like this, because this isn't very comfortable. Oh, I got this bucket full of hardware too when I took all of this stuff off. So we'll get this tightened down and then at least put maybe, I don't know, 1 or 2 more in there. You know, somebody did make like a good point in the comment section. Like, it really doesn't matter. Like, I wanted to get this intake manifold and this valve cover powder coated, but that's just a waste of time and money. I'm more concerned about getting the car up and running. And then, you know, as we continue to grow our YouTube channel and are able to afford things like that, then perhaps we'll entertain doing something like that. My handy dandy seatbelt lift chain thing. Honestly, dude, seatbelts are the way to go. It's the move, dude. You don't really need chains. If it's safe enough for the junkyard, it's safe enough for me. We'll give her the double knot. We'll give her the double knot since we'll be working on her while she's sitting there. All right, she's ready to get freaking lifted off the ground, baby. Let's move it. You're coming with me. Honestly, I think that's a good place for it. We'll just let her dangle there. So we have a new partner on the channel, DOS Parts. They're from Canada. They sell new and used Volkswagen and Audi parts. They sent me a bunch of parts to get this 07K prepped and ready for the engine bay of the E30. Now we'll go through one by one of what they sent me. They sent me a brand new water pump, some new knock sensors for the engine, another knock sensor, a whole freaking alternator, a whole freaking alternator, dude. How sweet. Some idler pulleys that we desperately needed. A tensioner, which is so clutch, thank God. And another tensioner, which is huge. Everything gonna be brand new on this thing. It's gonna look sick. It's gonna look so good, dude. I'm so grateful for DOS Parts. So please go support DOS Parts. As I always tell you guys, when somebody sponsors me or, you know, wants to partner with the channel, please go support them. This YouTube endeavor, this car build would not be possible without people like DOS Parts. So please go support them. Go like their Instagram pics. Do all the stuff for them, please. It genuinely does mean a lot to me. So thank you, DOS Parts, and thank you to you guys for making this possible. Let's get these pupper suckers on the freaking engine, dude. See ya. So first we'll put the water pump on. Unfortunately, your boy lost the hardware for this. So we're just gonna have it kind of sit there for now and chillin', make sure all these holes line up where they're supposed to be. Let me check my bucket of hardware real quick, see if I don't have some. All right, well, those are the right thread. Don't know if that's the right hardware, but it's the right thread. So we'll, I don't know, we'll just use that. That's good. Freaking bucket of hardware, dude. Coming in clutch. Put this in, make sure everything is lined up where it's supposed to be. Beautiful. I think this goes here, I believe, if I remember correctly. The one thing that I do want to do is show you guys why Boost Brothers Garage makes a lipped tensioner pulley and why throwing belts on 07Ks is such an issue. So we have this tensioner right here. Now this tensioner acts as the belt tensioner for the crank pulley to the AC compressor right here. There's a pulley right here that I just don't have because I don't have an AC compressor. So what happens is on high RPM decelerations, this tensioner that tensions that belt starts to lift up. That allows the belt to start to slip off of these pulleys here, and then it just chucks it out. So what this tensioner pulley does is does not allow for that belt to slip off, because as you guys can see, it has that little lip there that does not allow the belt to slip off. It's such a simple design, but it's like the go-to thing for your 07K to stop throwing belts. So I'm super grateful to have one now. So we're gonna throw that onto this tensioner and hopefully we have zero belt issues. With the Mark II, I've probably paid like, I don't know, $200, $300 in belts because I just kept losing them and chucking them. There we go. Holy cow. Nuts. And just like that, I broke it. I knew that was wrong. I had it in the wrong spot. I broke off the little tab. Sorry, DOS parts. Don't flame me in the comments. I never said that I was smart, so just give me a break. Okay, we're not gonna break this one. This one is gonna go in the right way that it's supposed to. Now the last part is this last tensioner. And this one goes here, I do believe, so. There we friggin' go, dude. She's all done. All right, well, the accessory bracket is almost fully outfitted. The one thing that we need to put on it is the alternator, but unfortunately, I do not have the hardware, so I'm gonna have to order some. But it looks a lot better, man. You have nice, fresh pulleys on a nice, freshly painted engine. It looks pretty freaking good. Obviously, I need to go back and fix my little overspray incident, but who cares? It's fine. I also need to get a Mark IV power steering pump to be able to put on the Boost Brothers billet pulley adapter so that I can actually put the belts on the accessory drive system or whatnot. I'm gonna stop tonight because it's starting to get pretty late, so hopefully tomorrow morning I'll come back, get the RX8 transmission onto the 07K and put it in the engine bay, and then we can kind of see what we're working with, how it's gonna look like, you know, doing maintenance on this thing while the engine's in the engine bay, because I really don't know what it's gonna look like. So I'll catch y'all back in the morning. All right, so good morning, we're back in the shop. It's day 2. The one thing that I did want to do today that I didn't say that I was going to do is take off the OEM oil filter housing and try to put on my Iabed oil filter housing, because the one issue that we were having when we put the 07K into the engine bay is the oil filter housing would hit this right here. So I just kind of want to see how it's going to fit up. I forgot that I wanted to do that. All right, there we go. So what I think we're gonna do next is put the RX8 transmission back on and then try to put it in the engine bay and see how we're looking. I hope to God that I can just do this on the first try, unlike last time, because I do not have the energy to deal with this today. All right, well, this is round 2 trying to do this. My phone ran out of storage, so then I lost a bunch of footage, and then my microphone died. So the audio was like horrible. I couldn't use it. It was terrible. And then the transmission just wasn't doing what I wanted it to, and then I couldn't get it into the engine bay, and then I rage quit. Sorry, guys. So we're just gonna start over. We're just gonna start fresh. So let's get this transmission back on to the engine, and then we'll put it in the engine bay once again. Second time's a charm, right? That's the saying. Where's the bolt? Round 2 went a lot better, a lot smoother. Cool. Now it's time to take this thing up into the air. Let's get this closer to the engine bay. So I know for certain we're gonna have one major issue trying to get this engine back into the engine bay. The engine hoist does not fit underneath the tie rods, and I don't have a jack here quite yet. So that reminds me, I have merchandise available for pre-order, link in bio. If you would like to support the channel, please consider grabbing some merch. I'll show the picture up on the screen now. Hop to the links below, bzsk.shop. Get yourself some merch, help your boy out, and yeah, thank you guys for all the support. How are we gonna do this, guys? Let's think about it. Let's think about it smart. And then that's where we're gonna run into the issue, because the engine hoist is hitting the tie rod. Nuts, man. I don't want to spend $100 to go get a jack right now. I really don't want to do it. I don't have the money. I'm poor. Maybe we could try to go down with the engine a little bit, and then maybe that'll give us a little bit more. That's not going to work. I don't know what to do. I guess I'm just going to have to go get a jack. I think that's the best option. Don't do this. This is not the right way to do this. This is kind of working. We're on the right track. This is good. What we need to do is jack the car up so that the engine hoist can clear the tie rods, and then that way we can start to push the engine more into the engine bay, and then we'll go from there. We should be able to push this in just a smidgems more, deeper into the bay. Well, we're gonna make it go down whether it likes it or not. Oh, that's right. I remember what I did last time. Last time, I took off the hook and I made it pick up from this point so that I picked it up. Okay, we'll do that really quick. I always like to keep my jack here just in case, for whatever reason, the Harbor Freight jack stands, go kaput. That's probably pretty dang close to where it's gonna sit, actually. It just needs to come back just a smidgems more. We got like, I don't know, 4 inches right here. 4 inches is a lot. That's really big, by the way. 4 inches, massive. We need to come back like another 4 inches because we still have plenty of room here. I don't know what that was, but something broke off. I think we just got to do like a little bit of wiggly jiggly to the engine and then have it sit nice and flat in the engine bay. Let's try to do some wiggly jiggly. So we're hitting the firewall. That's not what we want to do. All right. We're definitely going to need a different oil pan, 100%. I still have the stock transverse oil pan on this engine, so we'll definitely have to do something about that. Oh, it's just a brake line holder. That's fine. I think we're just going to leave it like this for now. I think this is good. All right, so this is most definitely not the 07K's final resting place inside the engine bay of the E30. We still have quite a ways that we could go back a little bit more against the firewall. We got a good, I don't know, 1.5 inches or so, 1.5 inches, 2 inches. Because if you look inside here where shifter placement is, that's the shifter right there. And then we got nothing right here. So either we're going to have to cut something out or figure something out with the shifter, or we have to go backwards just a smidge. But in comparison to the last time I did this, there's a lot more room for activities. The intake manifold was hitting this strut tower brace right here, and there's so much more room on this side. There's still plenty of space on this side for all the accessories. We still need to get the power steering pump, and then the power steering pump will route, power steering lines right to the freaking steering rack. We got plenty of room for activities on this side of the engine bay. The only thing, obviously, is we just need to go back a smidge more. But if we go down here and look at the oil pan, this is still the transverse oil pan. So you have the lower oil pan on the 07K, and then you have this upper aluminum oil pan. A lot of the aftermarket oil pans out there are rear sump. So like my sump would be sitting right on top of my subframe. So that just wouldn't be a possibility. If we end up doing a custom oil pan, we'll have to do some sort of front sump with like a pickup tube going back, because the oil pickup is gear driven, or chain driven, if you will, on the back of the engine. So there's not really much I can do to change that. But you guys might have questions about engine mounts because I haven't really talked about that quite yet. So let me explain what we're doing for engine mounts. So Race 3, they make 07K B5, B6, B7 swap kits. Before I chose the E30, I was going to do a B5 and they reached out to me and we were going to do a little something together. But ultimately I changed my mind to do an E30. But Jay, the guy who runs Race 3, said, oh, I happen to have an engine bay scan of an E30. I'm sure I could make you mounts. So in Canada, Jay is actually making mounts for me based off of a 3D scan of the 07K and the E30's engine bay, and then sending them to me to be able to put onto the E30. So I don't even have to do any sort of fabricating, because if you guys have been following the channel for a while, you guys know that I can't fabricate for my life. So that's going to be a huge help. And honestly, it was cheaper to have Jay do it than it was to go out and buy a welder and all the stuff to fabricate. We're also working on a solution for the oil pan. Now, we're not sure what exactly we're going to do for that, but just know that, you know, we are working on a solution for the oil pan and eventually we will figure it out. But this is progress, small progress. I didn't necessarily have to put the engine back into the engine bay, but I wanted to just because I kind of wanted to see the whole picture. And I'm really happy I did because it looks beautiful in there. Just check it out, dude. All the Beamer boys are going to be so freaking ticked. So good, man. Look at that. So the one big concern I have is having the hood being able to fit. Now, I think once we figure out the solution to the oil pan, we can have this engine sit a little bit more flat. And I don't know if we'll have any hood issues. If we can't run a hood, it's really not the end of the world, in my opinion. Now, the other thing that we need to figure out is turbo placement and routing of all the pipes. So this turbo manifold is actually meant for a transverse car. That's why the collector is so snug up against the head here. So if we were going to, you know, use this, our exhaust side of the turbo would be going out of the front of the car and then our intake would be going out of the rear. That doesn't really work. So, I mean, we'll have to maybe consider, you know, doing like an exhaust this way and then out the fender right here and then having like an intake somehow go back here into this battery tray. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Or two, there's little like 90-degree adapters and then I could put the turbo like right here, which honestly wouldn't be a bad place to have it. I kind of like it there. Obviously, we'd have to clock the turbo and whatnot, but I don't know, something that we'll have to figure out down the road. Just remember, I don't have this entire thing planned out in my head. I'm just kind of going as I go. I'm not one of those people who needs to plan everything out in my head and have everything like down on paper. That's not how I function. I'm one of those guys who's just like, yeah, I'll figure it out as we go. It's gonna be sick nasty. I'm gonna be honest. It's gonna be freaking wicked. This thing's gonna be a freaking ripper, dude. I cannot wait. But that's gonna do it for this video. I wanna give a massive thank you to DOS Parts for sending over those parts, and sorry for breaking the tensioner. I didn't mean to, but that's on me. That's my bad. Remember, go get your merchandise at the link below, bzsk.shop. It's on a pre-order. I expect the pre-orders to ship out in like mid-February, so go grab some, pretty please. It'd make me really happy. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys all for the love and support on the E30 stuff, and I hope you guys are stoked. If you want to keep seeing this thing, make sure you like, subscribe, do all the stuff, comment, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much. Have a good night. I love you.